pregame.tv.com.
Saturday college basketball, Big 12 style here at pregame.tv. 1 o'clock Eastern tip, West Virginia at Oklahoma State. This game on ESPNU, by the way. Hey, no doubt, by the way, that Bob Huggins' squad, the West Virginia Mountaineers, are in rebuilding mode this year. And we knew that before the season began. Took a little action on Gonzaga right out of the blocks against this West Virginia team. They had to go up to Washington, and Gonzaga whipped them by 34. Wow. But you know what? It's a Mountaineer team, VR, that looked like they were coming together a bit. They beat Texas on the road recently. They came within a point in a 65-64 home loss to Kansas State, and they actually played Iowa State, a pretty good basketball team, especially in Ames. They played them well in a 2-point loss to the Cyclones, but then came that 27-point unraveling, inexplicable loss to Purdue. Just a young team that's suffering some growing pains, maybe a little worse than Maryland as far as the growing pains are concerned, but not unlike Maryland, who we talked about earlier.
I'm a fan of Huggins. I've always been a fan of
and who cares about the graduation rate?
Yeah, that's why I bumped into him at the MGM, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. And a big fan from when he was at Cincinnati. Right. With that said, I agree with you 100%. And I think that's the signs of a young team. Even though those close games give you experience, the fact that they lost those close games becomes demoralizing. Sure. And that's when the train kind of starts to fall off the tracks. And it does take a good coach like Huggins to kind of keep their composure and keep them together. But again, that blowout to me is the most telling sign, because I think if they would have won one or both of those close, tough games, whether it was against Iowa State or what have you, then I think here's a team that would have been on the come, where you want to ride them. They're hot. Sure. They got momentum behind them, and the inexperience isn't going to be a factor traveling on the road. Now they got to go play at Oklahoma State. Not an easy place to play one bit. And again, the unraveling, I don't think is going to benefit them at all at Oklahoma State.
I was, this has been many, many years ago before I moved to Vegas, but I was actually at a game in Stillwater, and this is the old barn that they used to play in, and the people down there are just rabid. And this is before Oklahoma State was beaten. This is before Big Country was there. Right. Anyway, Oklahoma State just 2-4 straight up in the last 6 games, but the losses, VR, came against Gonzaga, Kansas State, Oklahoma, and most recently on Monday at Baylor, so they've been playing a really tough slate. But they're back home. They've had 5 days to prep for this team. I think they ought to have a little trouble against this. It's one of those situations where you're laying 9.5 at the Cowboys, but I think if they get out 10, 12, 14-point lead, West Virginia's not going to have the fight to be able to stay in it down the stretch.
I agree with you 100%. And Oklahoma State's one of those teams where I am comfortable even if I got to lay some points with them at home, because it is such a tough place to play, and they usually get up for those games. I mean, you know, all college teams get up to play at home, but Oklahoma State has a history of having that home-road dichotomy, and you want to look to back them when they are at home. And again, I love what Huggins, you know, as a coach, and I think if anyone could keep a team together, a young team, it's him. But the fact that you played those close games and you couldn't win, and it looks to me from what I saw the last time out that West Virginia, this team, it's going to take a little while for them to, you know, get
their composure. Look a little worn out both mentally and physically. Anyway, this one's my free pick, my best bet, so let's get to it. The Oklahoma State Cowboys 9-1 straight up at home this year, and they're winning those games by an average of 72-52. 47% shooting team on their home floor, while West Virginia's given up about 44% to their hosts. Cowboys play defense at home. They're holding their guests to 37% shooting, guys, 30% from behind the arc. And West Virginia, here's the key to this one also. They like to shoot threes. They shoot 21 per game on the road. They make 4, an average of 4 out of 21 from area code 3 when they're away from home. Terrible assist to turnover ratio on the road. I'm going to lay the chalk here. Here we go. Drink that water some more. Lay the chalk with Oklahoma State, my best bet for Saturday's college basketball.
Up here, man. I'm like, my mouth's dry.
When we come back, Sunday NBA, the Thunder, the Lakers, right here at pregame.tv.